Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Oh, what an emotional week it's been in terms of rabbits and rabbit pregnancies. And today I'm just hanging out here with little Chippy. But I wanted to address some issues that we've been having with breeding this season. And if you're wondering, there's not actually a rabbit breeding season. They can be bred anytime. Stop nibbling me, sweetheart. You already had your breakfast. But we don't breed during the summer months. The heat can be very hard on a rabbit's body, not to mention the added stress of a pregnancy. So we typically start breeding sometime in October, depending on when the weather really starts to take a cooler turn. And then we'll usually stop breeding end of April, beginning of May. So Chip's not very happy with me right now. There you go. But this time around we've faced some issues that we have not faced before, and this is going into our third year of, well, by the end of this year it will have completed a third year of rabbit breeding for us. And we started out strong with Thumper and her babies, and they were all healthy. We didn't lose any. I think there's 6 in there. And you can see Thumper's babies over here. I decided at the beginning of this year that I was going to stagger breeding a lot more, because last year what would happen would be we would get just caught up in chores and stuff like that, and we would just be overrun with baby bunnies, and we wouldn't have anywhere to put them. We'd have to do standalone cages, which I don't like doing. So I told Dirk, I said, you know, this is going to give you some time to, you know, build a proper amount of hutches and grow out pens and everything. So that's why we've been a little slower on the breeding this time around. But the second bunny that I bred was Tanner with Buddy, and I was really excited about that because Buddy, he's a shorter haired rabbit. He is of Teddy's bloodline, and if you've seen any of my videos from earlier in the year, you know Teddy was my absolute pride and joy. Unfortunately, we did lose him this year. He passed. But well, the time of Tanner's due date came and went. No nesting, no signs of anything, and I believe what we have on our hands is some infertility. Loud, wasn't it? Loud. Tanner has been bred a few times before last year, and she's less than 2 years old, so she's not an old rabbit. She still has plenty of breeding life in her. And Buddy, he was over a year old, just a little over a year old, so he was fully matured. For those that don't know, bucks do take a little bit longer to mature than does do. But I've rebred Tanner. She should be pregnant right now, and I bred her with Levi. So in about a month, we'll see. If she gives us some babies, we'll know that Buddy was the issue. He did have 3 successful fall-offs when we bred them. Hi, Buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing, big ears? You're beautiful, aren't you? Hi. What? You're sniffing me, aren't you? You smell the does on me. Watch your toes. So that was a disappointment. I'm glad both rabbits are healthy, even if I haven't had coffee today, y'all. Even if Buddy is infertile, I'm glad he's still healthy. You know, we can get him a good home. He'll make a great pet for somebody. He needs a little bit of patience because he's always been on the skittish side, even with regular handling. But it was a bit of a letdown, you know. But, you know, it happens. I went ahead and put Chip up. She was getting a little restless. But look at this. Look at that little Vanna. Vanna, what are you doing? silly girl. We've had so much concern in different shorts and different videos about Vanna, just her being a white rabbit out in the open. And 100% when she was, oh goodness, I think she was either 4 or 5 weeks when she kept escaping from her cage. And y'all, if you don't know, rabbits are fast, especially baby rabbits. And we had set up a trap quite a few times, and I witnessed it myself. This rabbit is smart. She was smart from day one. She would jump in this trap to get the pellets, but she knew to jump over the trap. She would never step on it, not once. She would jump right over it. I tried a couple different size traps to see if that would work, and it didn't. So that's why I decided, you know, I was just going to take my luck with it and let her be a free roaming bunny. And every day that I see her, it just makes me happy because I know that a predator hasn't gotten her. And like I said, you know, if you've seen, she sleeps in the hay barn. She comes out at night a lot. We'll come home and the headlights will shine on her running around the yard somewhere. But the worries about her being taken by a predator are very valid because of all the predators that we do have so nearby, especially hawks. But she's alive and well, and she's living her best life, but it's numbered compared to the bunnies in here, I'm afraid. I mean, eventually I just fear that her luck's gonna run out. So every day that I see her, she is so stinking cute. I'm happy. And like I said, I think that if she's not pregnant right now, I think she has babies somewhere, because just her personality and her attitude has changed towards me so much. When she's in the hay barn, she'll let me pet her and everything, and she'll take pellets from me. But when we're out now, she's a lot more standoffish. Well, the next bunny that we tried to breed was Butters. And if you've been keeping up with the shorts or the videos, you'll know that her due date was, goodness, the 16th, I believe. 16th or the 18th. The 16th, because it's been a few days now. And I had gotten very excited because she had started to get the hay in the nesting box and everything. Well, y'all, it's what, the 20th? Still no babies, still no hair pulling. And, oh my goodness, Brownie is over there spazzing out. I don't know if you can see him running around. But I was doing some research, and on the one hand, we did have one rabbit last year that gave birth 10 whole days after her due date. And had a healthy litter. But that is very rare. It's not rare for a rabbit to go a couple of days past their due date, but 10 days is a lot. And it can vary between different rabbit sizes and rabbit breeds, but typically it's 31 to 32 days after breeding successfully is when you'll see the babies. Started doing some research, and I learned about false pregnancy, also known as pseudo pregnancy. And when this happens, the rabbit shows all the signs of being pregnant. They can gain a little weight, their attitude can change, they will start doing the nesting, they can start pulling fur, but there's no babies. There never were any babies. I'm not an expert on this. I just started researching this a couple of days ago when I realized that Butters was not giving us babies. But yeah, so that's a thing. And I have 2 bucks that are causing a ruckus. Put y'all back in here. So that's a thing that I did not know about. And like I said, this is almost the end of our 3rd year of breeding. And well, another disappointment after, you know, having Tanner and Buddy, their babies not work out, and the potential infertility there. It doesn't look like I'm gonna get any babies from Butters either. The good news is that she's perfectly healthy. She's started to get her appetite back, and she's moving around the cage a lot. The only reason that I'm still leaving the nesting box in there is because I did have that rabbit last year that 10 days after she gave birth. And you want to make sure to have a nesting box or some spot in the cage where they can properly build a nest, because if she has the babies on the wire, she's not going to be able to take care of them. They're going to freeze, essentially. So that box will be in there a couple more days, and then it'll come out, unfortunately, and in about a month or so, we'll probably try breeding her again. One of the things that I read online under a few different sources was that if you suspect pseudo pregnancy, as soon as you suspect it, go ahead and try to breed them again. But I don't want to do that, because if she is already pregnant, it can confuse the rabbits. Rabbits can be impregnated twice at the same time. Like if I bred her today and 2 weeks later I bred her with a different buck or the same buck, she could get impregnated with a completely different set of babies. And it's not healthy for the doe, and it can cause some birth complication risks as well. So I'm just going to be patient. I'll give her a month or so, let her body sort out whatever it's going through. But the good news is that, again, she's healthy. She's active. Hoping against hope that she's still got them up in there. Oh, and that was another thing, is that it would have been a possibility that she could have miscarried, but I've not ever seen any evidence of that in there. You know, just like when rabbits give birth, it's a fairly clean process, but there's always some evidence. And same thing with a couple years ago, one of a rabbit that someone gave us. When we attempted to breed her for the first time, she actually ate her young, and that is, I don't know how common it is in rabbits, but I have read that if they do it once, it will continue to be a habit. So we did rehome her. But again, there was evidence of it after it happened. We knew that it had happened. But anyway, that got me a little bit concerned about Crazy Linda nesting so early, because that can be one of the signs of pseudo pregnancy, is nesting extremely early. But I did some research into my own note-taking and pictures from last year. Linda did the same thing last year. It's not as common in does, because most does like to wait until the very last minute to build their nest, some even 30 minutes before they give birth. But some of them can get that motherly instinct pretty early, and so the gathering of the hay and the pulling of the fur, it's not unheard of. It's just not as common. And I was looking back at pictures, and I saw the date of my first picture that I took of her when she had started nesting, and sure enough, it was right about 2.5 weeks after she was bred, and she gave us a very healthy litter. So I'm very optimistic about her and her babies. But it's been kind of a whirlwind, kind of emotional for me. You know, I love my rabbits, and there's not necessarily any rush. We still have several winter months left where we can breed. One other thing that I wanted to kind of touch base on today, because I've been getting a lot of comments about cage sizes and the wiring that the rabbits are on. And I got to thinking, and I don't think I've ever fully explained why we don't do colony breeding versus the rabbit hutch breeding. And if you don't know what colony breeding is, you can take whatever size. I would use the land. I wouldn't have them in cages, regardless of the size. But just put up a barrier. We would have to have a roof over it here just because of aerial predators. But essentially the rabbits have a lot more space. They all live together and whatnot, and they can kind of have a lot more freedom that way. There are advantages and disadvantages of both hutch raising and colony raising. For us, the reason we're doing raising them in the hutches is their own protection, really. Where we're at, and I'll show you in a minute, if you haven't seen before, the way our land's laid out. We've got woods on our property and a drop off just right down here, right past the barn. And then there's a creek, and then there's more woods behind that creek. We have had raccoons, possums, coyotes. There's stray cats that like to kind of hang out around the store. There's a couple of them that I've seen recently. I haven't seen them up here, which is good because of Vanna. I would chase them off. One of our friends a year or so ago was down walking the creek and noticed signs of a bobcat den as well. And there have been bobcats sighted in this area as well, not to mention hawks from above. There's a lot of predators where we are, and it would be really challenging to get a colony set up to fully protect them from all the different predators that are over here that could and would get to them if they were able. Hi, Blondie. But yeah, don't mind the junk over there by the big shed. That's one of my projects this winter. But you can see over here, it's pretty much a straight drop off down there. But our property line is halfway in the middle of the creek. And then there's more woods behind that in the neighbor's property. And then we'll go around. We don't see as many predators during the day, except for hawks. But, oh, speaking of, that kind of leads me into my next point of being able to better monitor the rabbit's health in the hutches because of the aerial predators and the hawks and everything. We would have to have some type of top cover fencing over the top, well, for predators and so the rabbits didn't get out if it was low enough. Well, we don't have the resources right now to have a full second like chicken coop set up for the rabbits with the chain link fence and everything like that. We just don't have that ability right now. But what I love about the hutches is that I can interact with these rabbits every single day and handle them and really see if something's going wrong with their health. Like with Teddy, like I said, unfortunately he got very sick. It was within 2 days he passed. But I was able to notice right away the drop in his weight. Similarly, I don't know if it's white rabbits or a certain breed of rabbit that are more prone to ear mites. With us, we've only had ear mite issues with our white rabbits. I've had to treat Thumper twice, and this is not just in that cage, so it's not an issue with cleanliness. It's been when she was in a couple of different cages, and her mom as well. Her mom was a Californian, and she got really bad ear mites a time or two, and we were able to treat them. But if the bunnies are in a colony setting where I'm not able to get in there and pick them up and handle them every day, issues like that might go unnoticed. Also, the breeding. Unless we wanted to ensure that there were no bucks in the colony, we would not be able to control inbreeding, unfortunately, that way. Not easily. So those are just a couple of the reasons why the hutch life is the route that we wanted to take. And as for the wire, I understand that concern as well. That's why we have multiple comfort boards, just the flat pieces of wood, in every single hutch, so that if they need a break off that wire, they can go on their comfort boards instead. Well, let me tell you y'all how infrequently I see them use them. Like Miss Crazy Linda over there, she's got 4 or 5 in there, and I'm spreading them out usually at least once a day because she likes to get them piled up right in front of her food dish, and she doesn't use them. Same thing with like Thumper's little babies. They've got that big comfort board in there, and it would be a lot easier for them because they're so small, so they could spend most of their day on those and not have an issue. They like to pile up in the corner on top of each other. There are definitely ways that we can improve our hutches and add more enrichment, and that's something that I've been looking into. We're constantly evolving and improving everything here on the homestead. There's only one person that knows everything, and that's our Almighty Father. You know, everyone else can stand to gain some knowledge. I don't believe there are any true experts on anything. Everyone can gain more knowledge. And I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the concern, you know, because that just shows that you're animal lovers and you care about the animals. But I want you to know that I do too. And my animals are not mistreated. They've got plenty of room. Their nutrition is great. They are loved. They're handled. They're examined for health issues. And I just want to get that out there, especially if someone's just watching a short and haven't taken the time to watch any of our actual rabbit videos and, you know, see the life and the evolution of the rabbits and everything. It's just important for me that y'all know that, you know, and anybody that knows me knows that I love my animals. But like I said, I appreciate the comments just because it shows that you care and you have a good heart. But I wanted to touch base there on why we do the hutches versus the bigger space of the colony. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. And oh, another thing, fighting. Does can get very territorial, and there is a hierarchy system with rabbits, and as I was reading about it, it's a lot more complex than like the pecking order of chickens. And I was reading a blog, and I wish I could remember the name of the homestead, and she's actually from here in Indiana somewhere, but she raises rabbits, and she started with raising them in the colony, and after several times of coming out to just large tufts of fur and blood from the does fighting, she decided that, you know, colony rabbit raising wasn't for her. And that's just another safety aspect that I can better control if I have them in the hutches. And I'm not saying that we won't try colony one day. I would like to try it. It would certainly be less maintenance on my part, less cleaning. It would let the rabbits really exhibit more of their natural behaviors and everything. But that would be somewhere well in the future, not on this property.
What are you doing, Vanna? What are you up to today? Got big plans? Got a date? Hot date?
But anywho, it's been a year. It's been a weird year for a lot of things. Produce, you know, growing cycles. I mean, shoot, we had tomatoes, what, less than a month ago? Less than a month ago, still red and ripe on the vine. But I just wanted to address some of those concerns that people had been commenting about and just explain why we do it the way that we do it. I'm always up for tips, suggestions, and again, I love that you care. I love that you care about the animals and that you want what's best for them as well. It's good. And hopefully Crazy Linda's birth here in a couple weeks will go as planned. Hopefully Tanner's will as well in about a month. I will keep y'all updated on that. And as always, you know, we appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, commenting. And until next time, friends, like we like to say here on Mama Bear's Homestead and More, keep on keeping on, because we love every one of you.